Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. So last week, a new student asked me a question, a yoga question, that I'd never been asked before. And it was a really good question, and I had to stop and think about it for a moment before I could answer it. So the question was, if there was one pose, one posture that would adequately show someone who had really mastered yoga or really exemplified one's development as a yogi. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. One pose that could really exemplify one's abilities in yoga. Well, first of all, the first thing that came to my mind was, well, we all think of the physical accomplishment. But that's not yoga. There are plenty of people who are acrobats and gymnasts and contortionists that can do incredibly deep poses with their body, but that doesn't mean yoga is happening. It doesn't really say anything about one's spiritual or energetic development. So as I thought about it, I realized I know exactly the pose. If there's any pose that's going to actually, in some way, shape, or form, show one's internal abilities, mental, energetic, and physical, that pose would be Maha Mudra. And you maybe have never heard of it before. It comes from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and other texts. But it's a full body pose where you are integrating the potency of your mind, your breath, pranayama, kumbhaka, breath retention, and bandhas. And it was said that Krishnamacharya, who lived to be over 100, in the last years of his life, that's all he practiced every day. Long sessions of the pranayama within Mahamudra, for hours a day. So just to give you a glimpse of what it looks like, it's basically a forward bend, but what makes it so intense is that you're holding it and you're adding the pranayama, the breath retention, and the bandhas. So there's a few versions, but essentially you come into a forward bend-like shape, and you grab a hold of the opposite foot, and you would do this on both sides. Except you're not trying to forward fold, you're actually pulling up against that foot, and you're trying to create a very straight spine, plus a natural bit of Jalandhara Bandha. And when you take that position, you are really, pulling up and creating a lot of intensity along the back body. The chin releases slightly to create that length in the cervical spine. And then it's quite active. You're really holding and pulling. And then you begin the breath work. Inhaling, holding the breath at the top, Mula Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha. So it's building energy. And then exhaling. And at the end of exhalation, still pulling against the foot, empty of breath, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Jalandhara Bandha. So it's really intense because you go round after round after round after round without taking a break. And you would do that on both sides. So if I were to see someone doing that with total poise, an incredibly focused mind, deeply relaxed, and yet, the bandhas, the control of the navel center, all of that happening, that would show a pretty darn developed yogi. So check it out. Google Mahamudra. Maha means great, and mudra is a gesture, whole body gesture or hand gesture. It also means to move towards delight. So look it up and see what you discover. And if you're interested in trying it, this is something that I build towards in my 5 elements immersion. There's a lot of pieces you want to put together. It's advanced before you tackle it. So we build towards it in my immersion. So, come drop in, take a class of the immersion, sign up for the immersion in the future, and eventually I will offer it as an online course. So look up Maha Mudra, the one posture I could think of that would really show an incredibly skilled and developed yogi or yogini. Namaste. Have a good week.